Yeah.
Everything is about power, and you could always trace it back to the money. You say that all the time.
Yeah. Follow the money.
It's follow the money, follow the power at any cost. It's very hypocritical. You know, the leading cause of death in children are guns.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They're guns.
Yeah.
I know it's the morning and I'm not supposed to be screaming, but they're guns.
Yeah.
Not drag queen.
Not drag queen.
No.
Leave us alone.
Yes. Later.
Singer and actor Billy Porter says he has to sell his house because of the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. In an interview with Evening Standard, he said until you make the big money, which he hasn't yet, the life of an artist is still check to check. The Tony-winning performer said selling his house is a cost-saving measure because projects he was set to do next month, including a new TV show, aren't happening due to these strikes.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Hollywood actor Billy Porter, who is boohoo, whining, and complaining because apparently he is going broke, right? He's going broke due to the Hollywood strike. And I have a whole lot to say about this as somebody that used to work in the financial services industry, right? A Hollywood actor who should have made millions of dollars over his career by now, complaining about having financial problems, and the strike has only been, what, a month or two or something like that? I got a whole lot to say about this, okay? But first, I want to go ahead and update you guys on the Hollywood strike that is still going on. It is effectively shut down Hollywood. Take a look.
The Hollywood writers' strike marking 100 days after thousands of city workers joined them and actors on the picket lines yesterday. Will Reeve is in Los Angeles with the latest. The show's already being affected and where negotiations stand now. Will, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Right now, LA is a struck town. The unions that make the city go financially and operationally are demanding changes, and there's no real movement in Hollywood as the WGA hits the century mark.
Studios negotiate.
This morning, the Hollywood writers' strike hitting the 100-day mark. Joined by actors at the beginning of July, neither union budging from their demands for higher pay, better staffing, and increased benefits. Los Angeles city workers also picketing for 24 hours Tuesday.
They're overworking me, overworking others, and it's affecting our family lives.
The union representing sanitation workers, airport custodians, lifeguards, and others claim the city is not negotiating in good faith. City employees marching in front of City Hall and Los Angeles International Airport. The protest disrupting shuttle buses, trash pickup, and airport operations.
There's a lot of people coming through LAX every day, 7 days a week, so it's very hard to do that shorthanded.
The two sides have a meeting set for next week, though Mayor Karen Bass says the city has been available to discuss negotiations since the start of the year. With no apparent end to the Hollywood strike imminent, the work stoppage is affecting all types of programs, including Jeopardy, whose showrunner conceded Monday the long-running quiz show will resort to using a combination of material that their WGA writers wrote before the strike, which is still in the database, and material that has been redeployed from multiple seasons of the show.
Yesterday, the Writers Guild said that the 100th day of their strike marked only a milestone of shame for the studios who have not yet issued a response. As far as the city workers' strike, LA Mayor Karen Bass said the city will not shut down.
Human beings, the actors and writers who are now struggling to make rent, put food on the table, that sort of thing. When we talk about how far apart people are, how far do we think both sides are willing to go? How much pain can they tolerate before something has to give and something has to happen?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Actors Guild has said they're ready for a 6-month strike, and the Writers Guild has said a similar thing. These strikes are having a serious impact on the local economies in New York and Los Angeles. It's not just the writers and actors, of course, it's also all the production staff, the catering staff, all the local businesses that rely on these productions to happen. So the impact is really serious. The studios, they've been stockpiling shows, prepping for a long strike. So everyone, I think, is really dug in here. That being said, I do think people do want to get a deal done. And that's why we're seeing the writers come back to the negotiating table and the studios come back to the negotiating table today.
And what exactly would you expect to see in the coming weeks with regard to which parts of the negotiation will see some movement the first? Is it on things like residuals? Is it on things like the use of someone's name, image, and likeness with regard to artificial intelligence down the line? What seems to be the place where we could see at least a little bit of daylight between those two, the two?
So one of the things that became a real sticking point in the first round of negotiations was generative artificial intelligence. And it does sound like that is an area where the studios are budging a little bit. We don't know exactly what their new proposal is going to be, but they have indicated that they are going to issue, give a new proposal on AI and how it can be used for writers and presumably when the actors come to the table for them as well. So that does seem to be a kind of a sticking point where there's going to be movement. The tough one is still streaming residuals. It's not clear how far the studios can go on that front because the economics of streaming are so different than traditional television.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Okay, allegedly, the Hollywood actors are dug in on their positions, and the Hollywood studios are dug in on their positions. Okay, they're negotiating about AI, they're negotiating about pay, they're negotiating about rights, streaming. They're negotiating about all types of stuff, okay? And personally, I think that it's good to take a break from Hollywood, right? I think that Hollywood has been full of themselves, and I think that they need to be humbled, okay? So who knows, right? Maybe this is a good thing in the long run. I don't know, but regardless, there's some Hollywood actors, again, like Billy Porter, who is claiming that he's struggling, right? He's struggling. He's living a paycheck to paycheck, because of these Hollywood strikes. So I want to read about this real quick and then tell you guys why I don't feel bad for this guy. Billy Porter revealed that he has to sell his house over the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike impacting his finances. Thousands of actors and entertainers are striking in Hollywood and around the country with the Writers Guild of America as they demand a rise in pay and residuals in the streaming era. And while the strikes may have a positive outcome in store for actors, Porter is already dealing with the negatives of the situation. Quote, I have to sell my house. I don't know when we're going to go back to work, the Posse star 53 told the Evening Standard. Quote, the life of an artist until you make FU money, which I haven't made yet, is still check to check, he added. Porter, who played ballroom MC, Pray Tell and Posse from 2018 to 2021, revealed he was gearing up to work on a couple of upcoming projects in September. However, due to the strike, quote, none of that is happening, according to Porter. So, to the person who said, quote, we're going to starve them out until they have to sell their apartments, you've already starved me out, Porter told the outlet. The actor's comments come after it was reported that film executives were willing to, quote, allow things to drag on until union members start losing their apartments and losing their houses, according to Deadline. The newly single Porter also slammed Disney CEO Bob Iger, who said actors' expectations of treatment are, quote, just not realistic. Quote, the business has evolved, Porter said, referring to the streaming era of film and TV. So the contract has to evolve and change, period. To hear Bob Iger say that our demands for a living wage are unrealistic while he makes $78,000 a day. Quote, I don't have any words for it, but F you, he said, but that's not useful, so I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't engaged because I'm so enraged. When I go back, I will join the picket lines, Porter added. The current strike marks the first time the 160,000 member strong SAG-AFTRA has walked out from film and television since 1980. Yeah, so again, part of the reason why I don't feel bad for this guy is because this is the same guy who was on The View getting involved in politics, basically slamming Ron DeSantis because apparently this guy believes that children should be able to attend drag shows, okay, and teachers should be able to talk to kids about sex. He's just a woke revolutionary who's so concerned about politics, okay? He's very concerned about politics.
When you were here in July of 2022,
yes,
we talked about how Florida Governor DeSantis had just filed a complaint against a bar called the R House that holds drag shows, okay? 8 months later, things have only escalated. As we talk about it, you know, it's constant aggravation with this. What do you make of the fact that we're still talking about this and that it's happening in other states too, not just Florida.
Yeah,
there's this war against trans people, which
and
is
LGBTQ plus people and people who are othered
and cabaret people.
And cabaret people. It's a circle of life.
Yeah. Why are they doing it?
For power.
Yeah.
Everything is about power, and you could always trace it back to the money. You say that all the time.
Yeah. Follow the money.
It's follow the money, follow the power, power at any cost. It's very hypocritical. You know, the leading cause of death in children are guns.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
They're guns.
Yeah.
I know it's the morning and I'm not supposed to be screaming, but they're guns.
Yeah.
Not drag queens.
Not drag queens.
No.
Leave us alone.
Yes.
You know, and it's a distraction. It's a distraction on purpose. We don't know what to pay. We don't know what to pay attention to. You know, our justice system is convoluted. It's hard to understand on purpose. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
It's on purpose. You know, it was like when we were talking about Roe v. Wade, that the word codify came up. I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
And y'all didn't do it for 50 years?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
You know, subpoenas. If any one of us is subpoenaed, and we don't go, we end up in jail,
You
right?
get a little perp walk.
What are we talking about, and what are we doing? And everybody's so scared because, oh, if we do that, then we might have a civil war. We're already in a civil war, y'all. It's a civil war of the mind. They're messing with our minds. We're already in it.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Again, one of the very many reasons why I don't feel bad for the guy, because he's a woke activist. Right? Maybe he should have been more concerned about preparing for this strike, preparing for this work stoppage financially, than going on The View and, you know, complaining about politics, right? Maybe you should have been more worried about that. But again, according to the internet, and I don't know if this is accurate, this is probably not accurate, this guy has a net worth of $5 million, allegedly. Again, probably not accurate. Could be more, could be less. And he was making about $300,000 a year, at the very least, from his work with the TV series Posse, right? So let's assume that this $5 million number is accurate, right? If his net worth, okay, all his assets, okay, minus liabilities, his net worth is $5 million, that's FU money, bro, right? Especially if it's liquid, okay? I can imagine a lot of it is in his home, right, which he claims he's selling. That is FU money. It's not our fault that the cost of living in California is so high, right? It's not our fault that you probably voted for Joe Biden, who was a catalyst for this inflation that we are experiencing. It's not our fault that you voted for all of these far-left economic policies that have increased the cost of living, right? It's not our fault that you, apparently, again, if you're worth $5 million, you have mismanaged your finances, okay? Because if you're worth $5 million, you should have enough income coming in, okay, in order to at least sustain yourself, right? You shouldn't be starving with a net worth of $5 million. If that's true, I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I can imagine that the guy is a decently famous actor, right? That he probably has at least made a few million over his career. And if he's invested properly, if he's managed his finances properly, then he should, at the very least, again, have a few $1 million in the bank, right? With a few $1 million, you ain't starving, bro, right? You ain't starving, especially if you have invested properly. And again, there are a lot of people who have not made millions of dollars, who are making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, who are suffering because of what people like this guy voted for, right? You voted for raising the cost of living on the rest of the country, and you want us to feel bad for you because allegedly you're starving because you live paycheck to paycheck. You didn't manage your finances properly. Again, when you have people who have not made close to the money that this guy has made, and they didn't vote for this nonsense, and they're suffering, right? They're suffering, okay? But again, this guy would probably turn the middle finger to those people because, those people don't agree with the far left woke agenda that this guy agrees with, right? But again, a lot of these guys, again, they want to blame the rest of society, right? They want us to care about the mistakes that they made, right? In regards to their voting, in regards to, financial mismanagement. etc. Right? He should have been more concerned. Okay, you should have been more concerned about your own personal finances and whatever you got going on with Hollywood. Then again, politics. You were more focused on being a political activist, pushing the radical woke agenda down children's throats. Right? You were more worried about that than you were about how to actually sustain your own livelihood. And then you want us to boohoo, whine, and cry for you, claiming that you're starving when, again, you are a multi-million-dollar actor, okay? I mean, I can imagine a guy who's, I don't know if he's actually a good actor or what. I haven't seen any of his work, not particularly interested in seeing any of his work, but, it doesn't seem to me like he's a guy that should be starving, okay, if he actually, made the right decisions. So, again, should have been more concerned about this than woke activism, should have managed your finances better. Otherwise, I don't feel bad for you, too bad, so sad. It is what it is. I'm very interested to see how long this Hollywood strike lasts. Who is going to blink first? We'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.